The nutmeg, panna, tunnel, whatever you call it, it's the most embarrassing skill in football. And today we're going to take a closer look at the art of nutmegging. And while you can learn a lot of fancy tricks to do it from, it's also just as much about learning when to find the right moment to pull it off. First up though, let's take a look at how the pros do it, because I found an absolutely brilliant situation where Isco absolutely hangs poor Marco Verratti out to dry. I guess he won't be singing and smiling after that nutmeg. But as you can see in the clip here, Isco's being forced back towards his own half and being closed down both from the back by Candreva and from the side by Verratti. He pulls out this outrageous nutmeg, but not just to show off simply, but actually because he kinda has to. Because if we stop time for a second here and we take a look at his options, well, option 1 is that he can pass the ball to Busquets up here, but the problem is that Busquets is also kinda closed down, so the pass can either be intercepted or, Busquets won't have enough time to do anything good with it. We don't want that. Option 2 is to simply flick the ball back to Iniesta, but because Candreva and Verratti are so close, they're simply just gonna swarm him and eat him for breakfast. That's not good either. Not for Iniesta especially. Now option 3 is to keep running forward for Isco, but in that case Verratti is simply gonna tackle him, which leaves us with the only viable option being option number 4, using the fact that Verratti is actually running forward and anticipating the tackle, and thus spreading his legs, leaving open space in between for Isco to exploit. To dive a little deeper, I've narrowed it down to the 3 most common and effective ways of nutmegging people. And number 1 is the outside tap. So if you look at players like Messi, Dybala, Aguero, etc., they often change direction by tapping the ball through an onrushing player's legs. And here you often see that the pros use a little body feint to get the defender to lunge, open up his legs so they can tap through. Or they simply acknowledge the fact that the defender has to choose a path to block and often open his legs up a little bit to make himself wide, and then it's wide open. It's actually that easy. Number 2 is the inside tap. Whenever there's an opportunity where players will spread their legs, this is what to look for. It often happens in situations where the defender is containing, knees bent, ready to track the player back. But since this also means opening up their legs, it's a pretty dangerous game for them. And in some cases, this is also used on an unrushing player just like the outside tap. Number 3 is the soul roll. Now there are many kinds of soul roll nutmegs, and the first one is the one done from an angle that we just looked at Isco do. The second one is where you have your back to the defender and use your soul to roll the ball backwards and through the legs, which CR7 and Ronaldinho has done previously. And finally, there's the one that Neymar has done that's basically a foot race between you and the defender rushing towards the ball. And whoever gets to the ball first can simply use the sole of his foot to roll it through the unrushing player's legs. Common for all of them is that the defender is not ready for this, is often moving, and is also closing in on you because they're getting ready to tackle you. This is the moment you're looking for. Whenever they lunge, that's your time to strike. The key for the nutmeg here is to basically never force it, because that's the most obvious thing in the world and really easy to defend against. But if you must do it and have to pull off the nutmeg, say because your girlfriend is there watching the match, in which case it's okay, this is what you can do. First off, there's the Giovinco, which is basically a Marseille turn using the inside of your feet, but you end it off with a heel tap, putting the ball through the defender's legs once you're facing the other direction. And secondly, there's the Kevin De Bruyne. Here you run to the ball, you use your weak foot to stop it, you turn your body, use a soul roll to drag it back, and in the same motion, you use the outside of your foot to tap it through the defender's legs. Also, many nutmegs can happen simply because you're good at spotting when your opponent's legs are open, because no one runs with their legs closed, right? So there will always be an opportunity. That all comes with practice. And practice and experience is what you need. You need to know when to do it, when the moment is there, but also when not to do it, because as I explained, it's super obvious when people are actively looking for the nutmeg. So if you fail, and you will sometimes, your teammates won't be happy. So remember, my friends, the greatest masters of the meg know exactly when to do it, but also when not to do it. But who, in your opinion, has made the most filthy nutmeg in the history of football? You should let us know in the comment section right down below. You should also remember that if you want to nutmeg in style, like Paulo Dybala, you can go and get one of the best leather boots around in the Copa 19+, if you go to our website by clicking right over there. You can also go and learn more cool skills by clicking the playlist right down there, and then go help us in our journey towards 2 million subscribers by subscribing to the channel. Click the bell icon to get a little notification every time we drop a new video. With that, guys, I'm signing off. Cheerio.